What's up, everybody? This is Gray Man here. So today we're going to dive into Hurricane Preparedness 2021. And the reason I say 2021 is because it's the year that we're in, and some things have been changed and upgraded since then. And I'm going to try to touch on some of this stuff, but most of this stuff is basic comprehension of hurricanes and how to be prepared for them. So a lot of it will be repetitive. I'm pretty sure there's been lots of channels that have done this. Some of you may ask, "Great, why are you doing this?" I said, well, I've been in Florida for over 40 years. I probably have at least a dozen hurricanes under my belt, multiple tropical storms, and so on and so forth. So I feel that I'm qualified to kind of go over this information in regards to hurricanes. I've been through plenty of hurricanes, some strong, some not so strong. That being said, hurricanes is what got me into the whole preparedness community in regards to thinking about prepping and so on and so forth. So that being said, I do want to address something really quick. So yesterday I was talking about, the droughts and all that stuff like that, and how power outages can be so detrimental to someone's health. And I wanted to share real quick this story that was very, very, very heartbreaking that I read yesterday evening after the fact. It was late evening. I was going through some articles, and I came across this, and this kind of I was like, wow. And I said, this kind of reminded me of what I had just touched on in the Sunday Shift Report. So I'm going to go ahead and throw an article on the screen real quick before we dive into this. And as you can see, it says Garfield man 93 dies after running out of oxygen during an outage. So up in, I think it's Pennsylvania, Tom Braith, who is a Korean War veteran, there was a 21-hour power outage up there where he lived in Garfield. And there was a couple storms, knocked some power out. And it was, like I said, the power outages was for over 21 hours, and the man succumbed because his machine wasn't producing the oxygen that he needed to survive. To me, this was very heartbreaking. But this goes to show how important your survivability is when it comes to power and the grid, be it a mega drought, be it a hurricane. All right, I just wanted to share that. I know that was outside of the realm of what I'm going to be talking about, but I just wanted to share that information. All right, so let's dive into hurricane preparedness. Now, here's the thing, is some folks may watch this video in its entirety and some may not, because I get comments down below sometimes and I'm like, well, I know I talked about that. They must have not have watched the entire video. So if you want to grasp what I'm saying, please take the time to watch the video from beginning to end, and hopefully it'll answer most of your questions. If not, and if I do miss something or misinterpret something or say something that's doesn't make sense or logic to you, then I welcome the comments in regards to, hey, I would add this, or hey, did you talk about this, and things that I could have picked up on. That being said, let's talk about Hurricane Katrina and some of the other things real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of how powerful these storms can be. Katrina's death toll was one of the U.S., I think, fourth in the U.S. history, which was very, very saddening. So let's kind of look at hurricanes in general. I think it says here, because I've taken some notes, as you guys know I like to do. So the Galveston hurricane of 1900, which killed 8,000 people. And, actually it says killed between 8,000 to 12,000 people. Sorry, I don't want to misquote myself. And Hurricane Maria, which is just in 2017, killed over 4,600 people in Puerto Rico. And then Okeechobee Hurricane, which was here in Florida in 1928, killed as many as 3,000. So, like I said, hurricanes are not to be taken lightly. And if you look at what Hurricane Katrina did to Louisiana, it was devastating in that area. I'm looking at the population density of New Orleans in April of 2000. The population density was a little over almost 500,000 by July 2006, and not quite after, and not roughly about a year after Katrina, population almost dropped in half to under 250,000. So to me, look at the devastation that one hurricane did. So please, if you are new to hurricane preparedness, if you moved into a new area that has hurricanes in its path, the Gulf Coast, the East Coast. I mean, hurricanes can be anywhere from Florida all the way up to New York City. If you guys remember, what was it, Sandy? and subtropical storms that move inland, the the whole Carolina coast and all that stuff like that, all up on those coasts, you can be affected by hurricanes. The whole Gulf Coast, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and then some of these storms are strong enough to push inland. So please just be prepared, and hopefully what I go over here will be something that you can draw from. If not, search out other channels. A lot of folks have great content out there. All right, so let's get into mine. All right, first we're going to start off with some of the key things. Bottled water and non-perishable food items. It can be very, very, these things that you would seem that are no-brainers, right? But every year here in Florida, a hurricane starts to approach the coast, water goes off the shelf, food disappears off the shelves, gas disappears off the shelf, plywood disappears off the shelf almost instantaneously within just days. So being prepared ahead of the game will increase your survivability. It'll increase your comfortability. You get what I'm trying to say in regards to riding out a storm. So anyways, back to the water. At least minimum, have a 7-day supply of water. Put in your home. If you're comfortable with bottled water, use bottled water. Whatever the case may be, that's going to suffice for you. Also, I suggest, bottled juices and flavored drinks, just to kind of mix it up a bit, so you just don't get that consistency of water. Boxed juices and, adding, let's say, Propel or Pedialyte or anything like that, just has a different flavor outside of water, and boxed juices can sit on the shelves for quite some time, outside of, hurricane time, but I mean, within a year. You want to get non-perishable foods, and I'm going to be saying a 7-day supply, because that's the minimum 7-day supply to ride out a storm. But as you guys know, sometimes when the storm that I rode out here in 2004, 04, 05, we get hit back to back by 3 storms, and the power outages last for over 2 weeks. There was the military on the ground, or the National Guard on the ground, handing out MREs and stuff like that to folks because there was no power for quite some time. And that's just in the central area. Outside areas had no power for almost up to a month. It took quite some time to recover from that. But so I got things laid around me because some folks are like, hey, well, do you really do this, Gray? Do you really prepare for stuff? So I got a bunch of stuff laying around me, and I'm going to show you guys on the screen. But I'm going to go over what I'm going to talk about. So, ready to eat canned soups. Let's say, what do I got now? I got some soups here. So let's say grab some canned soups. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping my camera will start focusing on the stuff here. And of course it's not. It's going to be one of those days where it just doesn't want to focus on me, and it's going to want to focus on the can. So canned soups. I got, granola, protein bars, high fibers, peanut butter and jelly, jerkies, other high energy foods. You don't want to buy a bunch of crap like Oreo cookies and all stuff like that. Sure, if you want to have a little bit of that, but you want to have as much nutrients as possible. You want to have adequate nutrition in your diet, and you want to stay properly energized. I have fruits, vegetables, all kinds of stuff, canned meats, you know what I mean, stuff like that. You want to have that type of food in your repertoire. Now, if you are like me and you have stuff like, let me reach over here. Let's say you have stuff like, Mountain House, Augustin's Farms, Nutrient Survival, whatever you have, these freeze-dried foods that have a massive shelf life on them. Sorry, I'm looking around here. The classic MRE. Maybe you have some of these guys laying around too. Whole package. It has everything you need in this thing. Extremely nutrient dense. I don't consider eating these all the time, but for an emergency situation, yes. And things that we're talking about here, we're talking about a emergency situation. We're not talking about a catastrophic end of the world type of situation, or cataclysmic situation. You guys get what I'm trying to say out of this. So, all right. That being said, so that kind of covers food and water. There's also water filtration. Because after a storm, a lot of things are going to be happening, and I'm going to touch on that here in a minute after I kind of go through some of this other stuff. So hopefully, I'm trying to move through this quick because this is probably going to be a long video. So my apologies in advance, but I just want to pack enough information in here to feel hopefully that you guys will, it'll help you. It'll plant that seed for folks that are new to this. All right, let me see where I'm at here. All right, so let's look at tools and other hurricane supplies. That being said, let's say batteries. Batteries is always a key component of things. Let me see. Let me move this over here. Have all kinds of different batteries, depending on what you use. If you use AA, AAAs, Ds, Cs, whatever kind of batteries you have a decent stockpile of batteries. Now, one way to circumvent batteries is having rechargeable batteries. I don't know if I should be able to pick that up on the camera. Rechargeable batteries like this, plugged into the wall, which is very helpful. If you have solar chargers, that's very helpful. Battery banks for your electronics is very helpful. Here we go. This is one of my favorites. Solar. Everything is solar. I've went over reviews over this stuff like this. This is a solar power bank. Here, it also doubles as a flashlight on there, on the back end. But yes, so having multiple forms and streams of power. Having those battery backups to run stuff like, all different types of electronics, fans, whatever you may have laying around that takes batteries. And I'll go through some other stuff here in a second. Having a weather radio. Where's that one I just reviewed? Having a NOA weather radio. This one is battery, USB, crank, and solar. Having a nice weather radio to stay in tuned and get information. Having that, just having that, peace of mind that you can hear what's going on, any emergency weather alerts and stuff like that. Also after the fact, anything that might be happening that you need to know, you can pick up on the radio, AM, FM, or your National Weather Service. It's nice to have a weather radio. Let me see here, what else I got on my list? I've already did the battery-powered phone chargers, which is what I already showed you. I wasn't going to grab a bunch of tools, but stuff. Having tools in your thing. This is one of my pipe wrenches here. What I use is this can turn off, let's say, a gas line. It can turn off your water valves. Having the proper tools easily reachable and accessible in hand is a good thing. I didn't want to bring a whole toolbox and try to throw it on my desk, but you guys get what I'm saying. Stuff like pliers, hammers, nails, screws, all kinds of stuff like that, flatheads, Phillips, and so on and so forth. Another thing that's huge during hurricane season is duct tape. Having good duct tape. Don't get the cheap stuff. I know the cheap stuff seems like the best option to go, but get the original brand of duct tape, or get the Gorilla duct tape, which I have some of that sitting over there. I could grab, but this is good enough. You guys get what I'm saying. There's duct tape. I'm sorry, I got things all over the place, and I'm trying to speak quickly so I don't make the video go extremely long, and I know I keep on saying that. Also, something that's very helpful is plastic and paper cups, paper plates, things like that, things that are easily disposable that you can get rid of. You don't have water running, after the aftermath of a hurricane, so you want to have those disposables, so that you can put food on and whatnot. You want portable water containers, but let's say you have a stainless steel water container. Some people have the Nalgene water containers. Also, something that some people always seem to forget is having all your important documents. For some reason, if you have to leave your home, it's important to have all your documents in if you can, get it into some of the really nice Ziploc bags. You want to seal it as best as possible, just in case water comes through your home, flooding and so on and so forth. You want to have these documents on you in case they are needed. Let's say deeds to your home or land, documentation, who you are, passports, identification, car registrations, titles and stuff like that, just to kind of, give you an idea. Now, another thing that some people forget about is during the storm is, you also may want to have some sort of board games, a deck of cards to pass the time, as you're sitting there and everybody's just not, concentrating on the storm. Some of that will help alleviate some of that fear and that anxiety from folks. So having, excuse me, like a deck of cards or a board game will be very a nicety, for the children and for the younger folks in your home while you maintain things around your house. And of course, having a generator. Generators are great to have, be it if it's a diesel-powered, a multi-fuel, tri-fuel, or a solar Genny. Any of those things are going to be extremely recommended during a situation like this. Now, when it comes to generators, you have to be extremely safe with generators. They emit carbon dioxide, so depending on the placement of your generator, depending on where you have it, you don't want to put a generator in your home. You don't want to even have it near an open door, right outside the door, where the wind can keep on blowing the carbon dioxide into your home. It's very lethal to humans. Every single time there's a storm or some sort of critical issue that happens, folks die from carbon monoxide. That's what I meant, carbon monoxide. Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying, man. I'm not going to try to get all the science behind it, and if I missay some words, you guys kind of at least get the gist of what the heck I'm saying. But carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are very similar in nature, but chemical differences and whatnot. But anyways, it is lethal to humans. You know, I mean, you guys can look it up for yourselves and look at the what I'm trying to say if you don't understand what the heck I'm saying. Anyways, waterproof clothing. That's another thing that some people don't think about. You know, let's say the storm is hitting and you have to go outside for some specific reason. Waterproof clothing can come in very handy. And here I'm going to knock down my mic. God, this is going to be an interesting video today. But, you know, let's say having, you know, something like a nice poncho ready to go if you have to step outside, if you have waterproof pants and boots and shoes and stuff like that. You know, you don't want to go outside in a robe and, you know, and a t-shirt and flip-flops, you know what I mean? Because you don't know what dangers await you outside. The strong winds out there knock branches and all kinds of sharp objects and pieces of stuff just start to blow from things that you don't think they're in your yard, but they might be in your neighbor's yard three houses over that have blown over into your area. So waterproof clothing, you know, good shoes, good pants, all that stuff like that. You want to have proper clothing, and also keep a backup clothing. If you have if you have to bug out per se, you have to leave your home. Having a nice pair of dry clothing as a backup is a nice thing to have. Also, what I suggest, you know, because it made me think about when I said bug out, it made me think about if you had to leave your home, even in your home, if you want to keep everybody in one room, the strongest room in your home. You know what I mean? Like I said, some people look at the bathroom and stuff like that, but find the most centralized room in your home is usually what I usually do, and try to keep everybody together so we can all stay in communication and stuff like that. And what I'm getting at is sleeping bags. So sleeping bags work in a multifaceted way. So sleeping bags keep everybody in there. You don't have to go to everybody's room and sleep on your beds and keep everybody independent from each other. Sleeping bags keep everybody in one centralized location. Everybody getting sleeping bags. Make it kind of like a camping situation if you want. You know what I mean? Everybody can just tell stories and play games and stuff like that. But if you have to bug out, at least you're taking your sleeping bag with you. I don't know if you want to be dealing with FEMA's cots and blankets or whatever that they have they're going to offer you. It's nice to have your own stuff. All right. Where am I at? So candles. A lot of people, you know, have candles. Candles is a double-edged sword. I have tons of candles. But again, when it comes to safety, proper use of the candles, make sure you have different types of candles. Candles that you don't want to just light a candle and go to sleep. A lot of people use these. These are the most common things that you see. These are the tea lights. They work good for all different types of purposes and stuff like that. They're awesome to have. What else do I have? I know I have candles here. So let's say I use something like this. This is a lantern that has candles in it by UCO. These are 9-hour candles. And if you have stuff like that, make sure that you have plenty of backups for them. You know what I mean? You want to have, you know, plenty of backups for the candles, because if it lasts day after day after day, candles, you know, last. That's 9 hours. So let's say if I have 20 of them, that means I have 180 hours. So that being said, you need a way to light candles. So make sure you have stuff like matches, simple box matches, waterproof matches preferably, because if it's rain out there and you're trying to start a fire, if there's wind and rain, you got all kinds of windproof matches. But having just regular matches is a nice start. If you have lighters, what else do we got? You know, the Zippos, waterproof fire starters. There's all kinds of different things that you can use. I'm just looking around to make sure I didn't put none of that stuff on my desk here. So that's kind of just some tools and some generalized hurricane supplies. Also, when you think about that, some people may not think about is communications. I have a small, localized communications. This is not like a Baofeng or a long distance communication type of thing. This is just a GMRS radio. You can get FRS or GMRS. Having communications, let's say someone has to go outside, someone has to go to the shed, maybe you have an acre or two, and things are going down, and your husband, your wife, your kids, your son, your daughter, whoever it may be, you're going out, load them up with a weatherproof thing so you have some sort of form of communication, because a cell phone is just not going to do it at that time. But having these radios work great in inclement weather, and making sure that they have some sort of waterproofing around them, that they're water resistant or waterproof. It's nice to have, so having some sort of communication. Now, since we're on the topic of candles and stuff like that, I just made me think about having good flashlights in your house. You know, having multiple flashlights, rechargeable flashlights. This is a rechargeable battery. This is my Olight M2 Warrior Pro. You don't have to get all fancy like this. You're just having flashlights in general will be very beneficial to you. Like I always say, being in the dark can be scary for the younger folks in your home. But lighting, if you have to go search for something, it's nice to have a strong, powerful light that can, push through that darkness. But let's say for in your home, you have, let's say, a small lantern like this that you can just pop open, and you can pop. I mean, I can put it way open, but a nice portable lights like that. You can hang this like somewhere. You can also has hooks on the bottom that you can hang it from as well. It also has magnetics on the bottom. You guys have probably seen these at some of your Walgreens and other stores, having those, but then having the batteries, like I said before, to run stuff like that for quite some time. Woo! Kind of running through it, right? Also, when I touched on the clothing and stuff like that, I forgot to mention having, let's say, something, if you have something nice, maybe you can use something like this that I keep on standby. These are, it says sport utility blanket, but, it can be used for lots of different things here. But if you don't have, access to something like this, even the cheap blankets, it's better than nothing. Having these blankets can come in very handy. Sorry, you see me moving around. I'm just trying to get the camera to focus on it instead of me, but, that's how it is. So having, those things, having wool blankets and extra stuff like that is also, like I said, to keep warm. Being wet, cold, and miserable can be very, what's it called, morale breaker. Or being hot, sticky. There's depending on the situation that you're in and the location you're in. But during the storm, it's usually a lot of wind and rain. It can be cold rain. It is a extreme low pressure system, and staying warm and staying dry is the best possible way you can to kind of for your survivability. Some things some people forget as well is insect repellent. When storms move out of here in Florida, it seems like the mosquitoes move in droves. Having proper insect repellent is a lifesaver. If you guys ever watch those folks over there on Naked and Afraid, they usually what breaks most of those people is being bit by flies and gnats and bugs and mosquitoes and all that stuff like that. So having good bug repellent is also important. Sorry, I'm just kind of glancing around at things that I have laying on this table here. All right, so let's get into another section, is first aid kits and sanitation. Having a basic first aid kit, and I should have just grabbed one from the hall closet, would be great, for, nicks, scrapes, bumps, bruises, having all different types of creams and stuff like that can be very helpful. You never know what you might be doing if you're moving debris, if something happens to your home, if you're putting up plywood in your home, whatever the case may be, having something like that is very important. Now, that being said, I always say, here's the scariest part about a hurricane. Most emergency services will not deploy or will not show up until the winds die down below 35 miles an hour. So during the strongest part of the storm, when things are going absolutely nuts, and if your roof caves in, if your windows break, and someone gets hurt badly, it's left up to you to help save that person or help give medical attention to that person until the storm passes and you can reach 911 or some emergency services, even if they are available after the fact. Where is it at? So let's say you have like a lot of us have, we have like these IFAK kits. You know what I mean? This is one that I keep in the house. This is the backup one. I think I might have did something with this one here, but having an IFAK kit can be extremely important. This is an individual first aid kit, more of a trauma kit. If you guys haven't seen my video, I've done a video on that kit. I've also did a video on a full size, and this is huge. I don't say that you have to have this, but this is just me with my previous, being in the military, is having a full size med kit with pretty much a hospital in a bag. But that being said, you can have stuff like gauze pads, adhesive cloth tapes, hydrogen peroxide, antibacterial ointments, aspirins, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, depending on which works best for you. Some people have allergies to certain ones and not others. If you have any recently filled prescription medications, if you know a storm is coming, go get your meds. Tell the the pharmacist, hey, there's a hurricane coming. Can I get, an extra month or something like that? Call your doctor. However it works for you contact the people that you need to get your medications. If you have heart medications or seizure medications or whatever that you need, try to get an extra month's supply. Explain the situation to them. Most doctors will comply and be like, okay, I understand the situation. I want to make sure that you're okay, because they don't want to be liable for something if something goes south as well. Having gloves, be it, some people say non-latex. Latex is the the latex ones have that powdery substance in them. I like vinyl, but there's all different types of gloves. Having gloves if you're dealing with some sort of issue where something is nasty and disgusting, or if you're dealing with someone who's bleeding profusely, you want to protect yourself and the patient. So having gloves, stuff like antibacterial hand sanitizers, soaps and wipes, and all that kind of stuff like that would be beneficial. Baby wipes, if you're not going to have water, so you want some way to clean yourself, for several days. It's it's the bushcraft shower. You know what I mean? You want to just take some wipes and clean yourself down. You want to prevent, and it just gets nasty if you're sitting there sweating, and doing work and moving stuff around, and just having those things is just going to make your life a lot better. And if I haven't said it enough, when it comes to fuel for your generator, be if your generator is running on propane, if your generator is running on diesel or gas, think about this in advance. Maybe you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 gallons of gas put away specifically for your Jenny. So it's nice to have that kind of stuff as well as a preparedness, because let's say you have your generators topped off and ready to go, but the crisis lasts longer than your generator can handle. So it's nice to have, if it goes a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the case, you have enough gas to keep power running. When you're running your generator, you also might want to think about, okay, I'm going to run my generator for a few hours to make sure, let's say if you have a refrigerator, you want to keep your meats cool or your food cool or whatever it may be. Maybe you want to run something like a little portable AC unit or some fans or some lighting or whatever the case may be. You want to run it for a few hours and then drop it down. During the day, you really don't need that. If at night, you might want to run it there, because maybe in my eyes, I'm looking at, the sun goes down, it takes less to cool. To me, it just would be more when you want to run some lights and stuff like that. But if not, you want to save fuel, like I said, you can use candles and flashlights and lanterns and all that stuff like that. Again, with the lamp oil, I talked about this last time, having hurricane lamps there, solid lamps. I should grab the one over there, but no, I'm not going to leave the thing. I've already done that too much. But having, a substantial amount of lamp oil for those hurricane lamps. And like I said, when it comes to everything, what I'm discussing here is, please, whatever you're using, be safe with it. Candles, generators, there's a safety precaution. Keep your family safe. Let me see here. And matter of fact, I did put a little note, and I was right the first time. And now I looked at my notes. It says, I put don't use generators inside your home, garage door, in your garage, home or your garage, near doors, windows, or vents, as they emit carbon dioxide. So I was right on the money, which is, like I said, lethal to humans when breathed in. So I don't know where I got the carbon monoxide. I'm thinking of probably my detectors and all kinds of other stuff like that I got in the home. But I'm glad to say that I was right originally. So I have some other stuff that I wanted to say, during the hurricane, things that I've learned myself, and I'm pretty sure it's out there in the safety field of things, is stay inside and away from windows. If something comes crashing through, that's the last thing you want to deal with. Man, I know I'm forgetting stuff here. Let me see. Yeah, I was thinking, because I had this sitting over here. This is a thing that I had recently. My father had gave me. He was cleaning out some stuff, and he gave me an extra one. I have another one, but I told him I have the full-size Coleman stove, but he gave me one of these, which is kind of works in tandem with these. You put that on there, and you have a cooking surface there. And like I said, I love stacking these. Rudy over Alaska Prepper has a cool way to fill those things. There was a video that he did a while back where he uses a full-size propane tank with a specific gadget on the end of it, and you can kind of fill these, which is cheaper because you can reuse these technically, and the way he showed that. I just noticed I didn't show this either. This is a headlamp. If you're doing stuff, you want your hands free, having a headlamp as well is a nicety, with different settings. This one has floods and stuff like that. I don't want to turn it on, but it has different types of lights on there. floodlight, spotlight, and so on and so forth, hands-free, so you can work on stuff. If you're trying to shut off the gas valve, if you're trying to shut off water, if you're trying to nail something back up, being hands-free is nice to have. I also was going to throw this in there just because of my personal preference, but having a little write in the rain pad where you can write notes and stuff on here, that's waterproof, and also having the corresponding pen to go with it, so that you can write basically upside down in the rain and water, whatever you need to do. Sorry, as I'm looking around, just seeing things that I got laid all over my desk because I wanted to talk about a lot of it. I think I've covered most of the stuff that I have laying around me. Anyways, back to what I was saying is, staying inside and away from windows is a good thing. Just because, like I said, if something comes crashing through, something hits your window, something breaks in the glass, and splinters, and it just can be a nasty situation, until you've been through it, like I have, and some of you folks may have been through some nasty hurricanes or tornadoes or storms in general. But like I said, stay in an interior room. Some people say, you can go into a closet or bathroom just because of the way they're built up. And Mark from Rolling Homestead is giving me a call. Sorry, Mark, I am in the middle of making a video. But let me see here. What else I got here? Let me see. Storms, calm down, dissipated. Stay tuned. I got that. I already talked to you about, listening to the weather radio for, local and national alerts when it comes to storms. Also, this may be a good idea for some folks, if you guys don't mind. Sometimes the best option to protect all the electronics in your home during a hurricane is just to shut off the breaker preemptively. I know it's a little bit weird because you're worried about your food in your refrigerator and darkness and not having all the electricity and all that stuff like that. But sometimes if you don't have the proper surge protectors and stuff like that, or ride it out to a certain extent, but as soon as you see it get bad, maybe shut off that breaker. It may help with certain things as well. This is just a suggestion. It's not gospel that you have to do this, but I'm just saying. I've learned from a couple of friends of mine. They say, man, when a storm comes pushing through, I shut my breaker down, and just kind of wait it out, until the storm passes, and then throw my breaker on and see if there's any power, just so that they don't get any surges to their home. I was like, man, that's kind of interesting. I never thought about that before. But that just kind of popped in my head because we have conversations. We have like a hurricane group and hurricane page on Facebook that we talk and exchange ideas and whatnot. And again, like I said, you want to use all this equipment safely. You want to read your generator's owner manuals. You want to again set your generator up away from doors and windows and closed areas and stuff like that. It's funny, I have here, it says keep your carbon monoxide detector inside the door or window closest to the generator. That's where, because I put so many notes in here, and then it looks just like a big mess on the screen. So that's where I got my carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, a little bit confused, but yeah, like I said, they correspond with each other. And the last thing I guess I should touch on is sandbags and protecting your home from incoming water. Depending on where you live, some people live on hills, some people have good drainage, some people don't. If you're living in low-lying areas, people get sandbags. You can usually get sandbags from all different types of places, either relatively cheap or free. They'll give you so many or something like that. And then when you fill your sandbags, you don't want to pack these sandbags all the way to the top. Because you want to have some pliability to the sandbags so that when you stack these sandbags, they're creating a seal. So if you have 3, 4, 5 sandbags, they're creating a seal to keep that water out. If they're like overpacked and stuff, there's going to be cracks and ways for the water to seep through. So you want these sandbags to be loosely packed so that you can push them together and create a seal on these bags as you stack them. I've seen people do some crazy stuff with sandbags, and I'm like, that's not going to work. Whew. All right, let me see if there's anything that I'm possibly forgetting here. And just having a hurricane plan with you and your family, having everybody on the same page, and then having stuff ready to go if you do have to evac, or as we like to say, bug out of your home and go somewhere. You want to have all, like I said, your stuff ready to rock and roll outside of just the stuff that you have ready for the hurricane. So have a bag prepared for everyone, medicines and papers and supplies and sleepings and clothing and all that stuff ready to rock and roll if you have to leave your home quickly. It's not something, all of a sudden a hurricane bears down on you. It's devastating. It's a Cat 4, Cat 5. It's blown in your roof, and now, things is everywhere. Things is a mess. The wind is blowing, the rain, lightning, it's dark, and you're trying to find everything and throw it in a bag. Not a good idea. preemptively get this bag ready to go if you already don't have a bag, as we call it, a bug out bag, to ready to rock and roll and leave your home. Now, luckily with most hurricanes, you're probably going to be coming back to the home eventually, unless it's catastrophic where everything is just leveled, which has happened if you looked at Hurricane Andrew down in Homestead, Florida. Leveled things flat. There was nothing left. It was just like matchsticks. Boom, it was gone. So then you don't have a home. So make sure you have, if you have insurance and your deeds, like I said, all that paperwork in your bag ready to go if you have to leave your home. That being said, I did forget about something. If you're going to leave your house preemptively before a storm hits, leave extremely early, because every single year, this is from experience, I've watched folks, the highways are bumper to bumper jammed packed. Sometimes the highway patrol and the National Guard will open the other lane and only make one-way traffic, which is a plus. But is your car, your vehicle, the last place you want to get caught in a storm? So if you're going to preemptively go to another location and you want to flee from the storm, let's say you have someone in Georgia, you have someone in some other, wherever you want to go, leave really, really early. If that's what you want to do and you don't want to ride out the storm because you've never done it before, you're not prepared, or whatever the case may be, leave extremely early. There's luckily with hurricanes you do have a pretty good window, so don't wait to the last minute and say, oh, what, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and leave now. You know, it's 8 hours away and it's intensified, so I'm scared now and I'm going to leave. It's going to probably do more harm, like I discussed the other day in the tropical depression Claudette that passed through over there. We lost folks because they were on the highway during the storm. So please be safe. Please be prepared. That's all I'm trying to get out of this video and this message to you folks, is I want everybody to survive and prosper and be happy and have their families safe. So hopefully if you got some value out of this video, you guys will give it a thumbs up. You guys will share this with family and friends. I know this is not like the most professional style that people like to do videos, but this is the way I'm doing the video. I am 100% human and I want to be real with you folks. So that's why it's a little bit chaotic in the way I do things, but I feel that the information is there, that I'm getting my point across. So if I've helped anybody, please let me know down below. Please drop comments on things that I might have missed and suggestions that you may have for folks that have watched this video when they go down and read the comments, because I see there's a lot of interaction down there, which is truly, truly appreciate it. I love seeing you guys talk amongst each other. I love seeing you guys, comment on each other's comments, and as well as helping me out on some of the things that I may have missed. I think that's about it. I think I've covered a lot of different things and I'm probably going to forget everything. I'm not perfect, and I don't know every single thing that there is to know. This is just from my experiences, and I'm hoping that you'll get out of this video and become more prepared for this hurricane season. All right, guys, this is Gray Man. I'm out. God bless. Be safe. I'll see you guys on the rebound.